Alex retraced the route back to his home exactly. It was a straight line, with no rises, dips, or corners to navigate. Still, Alex's pulse was a raging torrent, his brain spinning as though caught within an endless vortex. It was a simple journey of 2 blocks, but Alex may as well have been trapped on an uncontrolled roller coaster during an earthquake for the level of terror gripping him. The church parking lot across from his apartment building was full of vehicles sitting in their stalls with the semblance of slumbering beasts. The Christmas festivities seemed to be just ending, with the shapes and shadows of people moving to wake the beasts of chrome from their sleep. Alex gazed at the activity, fixating on the variety of vehicles whose glowing headlights were akin to miniature moons. His heart was beating so hard, Alex worried it might become a missile launching from his throat if he breathed any harder. His mind commanded that he scream with the fear of a child awakening from a nightmare, and resisting that edict alone was an exhausting act of will. The scream came, not from Alex, but from the tires of the Ford Explorer storming around the corner. The truck growled as it fishtailed, roaring as it slid on the icy road into another vehicle before finding purchase and bearing down. The vehicles in the church parking lot moved with the benevolence of docile beasts of burden, but the jet-black Explorer was a wild predator lusting for blood. Already in the crosswalk, a woman holding a small child's hand became the focus of the Explorer's headlights burning with the malice of wicked cauldrons foretelling a horrendous event. The mother's face was a vision of primal terror as she clung her child to her body and dove for safety. The night became manic with action and ruckus as some people cried out in terror at the near tragedy, while others rushed to the aid of the woman and child. The passage of the Explorer was the target of tremendous anger as it careened onto the main boulevard, but no one saw the cat-like shadow pursuing it. Alex raced along the paved pathway running parallel to the boulevard with the speed of an arrow released from the bow. A few seconds ago, Alex had thought of his heart as a missile he was trying to prevent from launching. Now the panic had once again been banished by action as Alex's entire being became a missile, tasked and targeted to stop that monstrous truck. The vehicles scattered like fish scrambling to get clear of a ravenous shark as the Explorer rampaged down the boulevard, and Alex became a dagger slicing through the heavy, frigid air, heart pounding with the force of the prize fighter's fists as his cat-like limbs propelled him at his thunderous pace. The Explorer steamrolled through the vehicular chaos and accelerated, but it was Alex who dropped the hammer. In 5 heartbeats he was pacing the Explorer, glimpsing the key to his next move in the corner of his eye. The window of the rear side passenger door was down, and Alex made a final jump that was tricky, insane, and performed without thought. A car swerved up onto the path where he had been a second before, but Alex had already dived into the Explorer's window with the form of an Olympic swimmer. The Explorer's rancorous engine was dramatic enough, but the tumult inside the truck was a mind-breaking catastrophe. The stereo raged with speed metal so loud and fast there was barely even a beat. The tooth-rattling blend should have been enough to block any other sound, but the screams of the driver, a crazed exclamation of inhumanity, overpowered all other sound. The driver shook with infinite lunacy, gripping the wheel so hard his hands looked to be of white marble, as his eyes bulged with a fury that would have driven the devil to confession. He was not sitting in the seat so much as standing up from it, like a condemned criminal whose execution had gone awry due to an electric chair with faulty restraints. The first hint the lunatic driver had of another passenger was when Alex pulled at the unused seatbelt and twisted it twice around the driver's neck. The driver screamed, but the mindless exclamation was interrupted as Alex grabbed for the seat recline. The driver grunted and was immediately stunned as Alex hammered his elbows into the driver's chest. The driver gasped as Alex moved again, sitting on the prone maniac's legs. Besides currently sitting in the lap of a brain-blown drug addict, Alex's other problem was that the drug addict probably still knew more about driving than Alex did. But Alex was reasonably sure where the brake was as he wrenched the wheel and stomped his foot on the pedal. The Explorer thrashed with the fury of a horse trying to throw a saddle-bronc rider from its back as it slid on the ice. The brakes locked up, but the truck continued on, spinning as little more than foil tossed by a violent wind. The tires shrieked as Alex desperately held the brake. Suddenly, the drug freak lunged up, the seatbelt still around his neck as he bellowed with the ferocity of a long-extinct predator. Alex looked into the overhead mirror, saw Satan snarling against his ear, and screamed as he threw his head back, sending the drug freak falling back with a broken nose and split lip. Alex's stomach weighted itself down as though it were an overstuffed sack of rancid steak as the Explorer spun a final time. The truck was facing the church as it left the road, jumped over the pathway, and miraculously landed neatly in the frozen-over knoll beside the path. The drug freak was starting to rage again, but Alex was already tossing the keys and fleeing into the shadows.